Hi, I'm Sandra Muller, and I wanted to explain to you how did the channeling start in my life. It did start automatically without me taking a specific class or something like that, and it started after having a near-death experience in 2010. So I'll go over it a little bit. So many people want to channel, and they'd love to understand how we can learn to channel or what happened to people that channel without knowing there would ever be this chance in their life, which is my life was like that. I never thought I would be a channeler. So in 2010, I came back from Asia, and I decided to take a sleeping pill in a long flight from Seoul to Los Angeles, and I didn't drink enough water in the flight. And what happened is when I got home to Los Angeles, I lived in Beverly Hills at that time, I felt very sick. I felt fluish and my back really hurt. So I laid in bed for a couple of days thinking I had a flu, and it wasn't a flu. What was happening is that I had a blood clot in the vena cava behind the belly button. So that's why I had so much backache. And I landed in the hospital on Sunday morning. I think it was May 21st, 2010. And the doctors realized I was having a pulmonary embolism, and that blood clot had gotten to my left leg. So there was a series of problems. It was a life-threatening situation. I was told that I was going to have to amputate the left leg, and I was going to the surgery to have this left leg amputation. And when they took me to the surgery in the corridor going there, I realized at one point that I was looking at my body from above. And I was looking at myself and thinking, oh my God, my body is there and I'm here, so I must be dead. And I was pretty much shocked because I was 48 years old at that time. And I had a little dog called Titi, little Maltese that I adored. And my first reaction was to call 911 God. That's what I did. And I explained my situation. I very quickly, of course, this remembrance is taking a long time, but in the moment of the near-death experience, everything is very quick. So I asked God for more time to be able to live a longer life and also take care of my dog. That was my biggest worry. And at that point, I was a jeweler. I was a very, successful, you could say, jeweler in LA. And I didn't think at that moment about my career or anything like that. I really had very specific thoughts. I wanted more time. I didn't feel that my time had come. So I asked God to give me more time in exchange of doing charity, which I didn't really know what that word meant, but I used that word, and I remember that very clearly, that I repeated it twice with a lot of passion, a lot of fervor in my heart, because I realized in that moment in time that I had been living for myself because I was working so hard. I was in a hamster wheel, basically, like many of us do. And I was putting all my energy in my survival skills, to be the best jeweler I could be, and to be successful. And so when I asked for more time with the intention to do charity and to be able to take care of my dog, my beloved dog, I was given more time. Instantly, I woke up from a 7-hour surgery that did not need to amputate my leg because a wonderful doctor called Mark Friedman found out that there was this young woman having to have an amputation because of a blood clot, because of a pulmonary embolism that had reached also the left leg. And he told me the story afterwards. He told me that he found out about me on Monday morning, which was the day of the surgery, the second surgery, because I had had a surgery on Sunday upon arriving at the hospital, and that surgery had not worked. So he found out about me, and he knew that my life was on a threat, and he said, let me try again. I have a gut feeling that I can be successful. Let me try again. She is not going to make it anyways. And so that's what happened on the physical level while I was already in the spirit form. The change of room was done. He later explained me that I was going to a room to have an amputation, and the surgery that he had to do was a radiological surgery where they open you up wherever there's an artery to basically pump your blood and clean the whole circularity system. So they changed rooms and he performed the surgery, and I survived it. I woke up from a 7-hour-long surgery with both my legs and with the opportunity to have a new life. And I always remembered in the next months that I was in recovery, I remembered what I had promised. I remembered totally what my intellect, my essence, my whole being had promised, because as I found out, death is not an ending. What I saw is that I saw my body. I could look at my body, and I saw the doctors helping me and actually saying, we're losing her, put this, put that, medical terms. And so I saw my body. So I realized that I was there. I was alive. The essence, my own essence, was 100% alive. I could think, I could talk. Maybe nobody was listening to me because it was not through my physical body, but my essence was the same as it is today. And so when I had this opportunity to have this second life, I never forgot that I wanted to do something for other people. And it took a long time to recover, because anytime there's cardiology involved, as many of you know, the body needs a lot of time to recover. So during those years, a year and a half of recovery, I started studying. And I first read every book that I could read, Carolyn Myss and Wayne Dyer, and I listened to a lot of podcasts in that time, and I wanted to study healing. And what happened is that during these years of recovery and of studying, I moved to Topanga in Malibu, in a little cottage in the nature, and I loved living there. It was a very simple place, but I loved it so much because I was in nature. I was sleeping with the sound of the owl and the coyotes, and my life was very simple. I was just in recovery mode, and I had a lot of free time. So I did started studying healing modalities, whatever I could access. And a friend of mine at some point gave me the phone number of a shaman in Topanga, very well-known, incredible shamanic practitioner. I would even call her a shaman. Amanda Folger is her name. She lives in Topanga. And my friend gave me her telephone number so that I could have a shamanic healing. And I thought that was so just fascinating. I had no idea what shamanism was all about. Hardly ever had heard about it. And so I went to meet Amanda, and she performed the first shamanic healing. And to my great amazement, I was able to connect very fast, very easily, with a lot of ease, with the other realm. The minute she started whistling to call the spirit helpers, and the minute she started, I could hear the drum beat, because she used the drum just the way I do now. The minute I heard that sound, that beat, my brain picked up shamanic journeying instantly. Although I did not know the modality at that point of where to go on a shamanic journey, but I had so many visions, and so much would happen when she would be working on my body. So much would happen internally for me, so many visions, so much was happening that even she was impressed, and she kept on telling me, you should study this, because she is a teacher for the Foundation of Shamanic Studies, the FSS. And So I didn't think I would need to study shamanism, but I kept on having shamanic healings with her every time extraordinary things would happen to me. And I felt that my life was back on track. And I started again working, made very beautiful jewelry at that time. I was still a jeweler. And then what happened is that life changed course again for me. In 2016, February 2016, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, invasive breast cancer. And my first reaction was, why? Why this? I'm eating organic, I hike, I'm very healthy, I swim every day, I meditate, practice meditation that I learned when I was in my 20s with Prem Rawat. And I was doing all the right things. So why would I again have a life-threatening disease? So I went back to Amanda, and the doctors had told me, they had scheduled me for chemotherapy and radiation and surgery and all that. And they had told me if I didn't do all of that, I would have 3 months to live. So I was quite shocked, with this kind of sudden news. And I went to visit Amanda Folger again in Topanga, my shaman, and we did a shamanic work on myself. She performed a healing session on me. And I had amazing visions of a condor coming to rip my breast, because I had breast cancer, to rip my breast away and to get this, tumor and to throw it, not even devour it because it was nasty. And I had this beautiful healing from an amazing condor that came to perform a surgery on me. And she, on her hand, was told by her helping spirits that we had to dance the happy dance, because I had to celebrate these cells that had come in my body to teach me so much, that I was not going to die from this cancer, that I was to celebrate them because the learning was going to be so amazing and I was going to be able to help other people. So remember, I had offered myself to do work for other people that I called charity during the NDE. But I didn't really know at that time what it would mean. So at the beginning, when I came back home from the NDE, I would open the door at Whole Foods and help old ladies with their bags and look up and say, is this charity? Am I doing something? Because I did promise that. So I would, throughout my days, do little things wherever I could. I was always remembering that I had promised to do something for other people. So, 6 years later, I'm dealing with cancer, and the shaman, Amanda, tells me that we have to jump of joy because I was going to do something extraordinary through this cancer. And I was in shock because 2 days before I had been told, you have 3 months to live and all these amazingly difficult modalities to do, 25 or 26 chemotherapies. And so I was overwhelmed, but we did get up with Amanda, and with a heart full of passion and of real passion for life, I danced the happy dance, celebrating these cells in my body. And I trusted the universe that I was going to be okay, that the messages that I was receiving, that I had to go through whatever modalities, healing modalities were, accessible to me, and that my life was not going to end there, that cancer was not going to take my life. Of course, we're all going to die at one point in our lives. And I was told that as well by Amanda, that, we all have a limited time, but that my time was extended. So I did what I had to do to help myself the best way I knew at that time. And I started in my free time during my 1.5 years of treatment for breast cancer, I started studying some more. I got really interested in healing modalities. I started studying anything I could get my hands on. And at one point, I agreed with Amanda that I was going to take the basic course from the Foundation for Shamanic Studies to learn the basics of shamanism, of shamanic journeying. And when I did that, it was just amazing. I was finally home. I knew at that moment when I met my helping spirits face to face, I knew that that modality was the one for me. So I jumped into my studies and training with the Foundation for Shamanic Studies. I studied everything that I could, took every class, every course, every training that they were offering. And I slowly but surely got comfortable with shamanic journeys. And at one point, I wanted to write a book about crystals, because as a gemologist and a jeweler, I had always been very interested in gems and in crystals and in the mineral world. And I felt connected with crystals. So I wanted to write a book about the messages that each crystal would give me. And when I started this process of writing this book, I realized that the crystals were talking to me. So I was a bit surprised how easy I could do automatic writing. And at one point, I did a journey to my helping spirits to talk to them and ask them why I had this very innate ability to receive direct messages, not only from crystals, but from them. And I asked them because I could see them as visions, with the sound of the drum. I do go on shamanic journeys. So I could see my helping spirits, and I had become acquainted with them. I knew them intimately. And at one point, I asked them, who are you? Who am I talking to when I receive these messages? And they gave themselves the name of Altus Reciprocity, which I later shortened to AR. They explained me that they were like a council, a group of helping spirits that could bring us the energy of above, Altus, proximity, that could bring us back the energy of all the universe, the universal intelligence, as they call it. And so I named them, in accordance with what they wanted, the Council of AR. And I was at that point only doing transcripts, automatic writing transcripts. And it evolved. They, at some point, would tell me, start channeling live. Do not write anymore. Just speak the words that we are giving you. And so I did. I was basically trained by the Council of AR to channel. It happened fairly quickly. They would tell me, because when I get in trance, I listen to the sound of the drum. At a certain beat, my brain is used to now going through the veil very quickly in a few seconds and going to the upper world or going to the middle world or going to the lower world in my shamanic practice and meeting with the Council of AR and asking them a question and receiving the answer. And I would start to write it on automatic writing, my pen and my books. I would just write and write and write. I have so many of these books like this that have transcripts. And at one point they would tell me, remove the drum from your ears. Do it automatically. And I would test it and it would work. So it was not done one day to another. It was a practice that I started doing every day, getting comfortable. And at one point, recently, they explained me that I was going to channel live. And so that was, again, another step. So I was able to do an entire book that I will show you, channeled with the Council of AR. It's called Crystal Clear Joy. And this book is all channeled. And it's a beautiful book. It's sold on Amazon. It's very easy to read. It teaches you so much. I learned so much channeling this beautiful book. I learned so much about my life and about crystals as well, and how to achieve a life of peace and of joy in a simple way. So the book is very inspiring. And now that the book is done, they want me to create a course. And I know a little bit what the course is all about. I am in the process of doing this. And I now channel a beautiful crystal a master quartz crystal called Sunny Moon. This is an extraordinary crystal. I gave him his own YouTube channel called Sunny Moon Master Quartz Crystal. And I will put the link below for both of the channels, the YouTube channels that I have created. The one for all the Council of AR channeling, like this book, and the one where I channel this extraordinary crystal called Sunny Moon. And it is a process. Channeling now is part of my everyday life. And I am so grateful for all the difficulties that my life has had, including, of course, a near-death experience where I learned so much about what death is all about. And I am so grateful for that experience because I no longer am afraid of death. Not only because of the near-death experience in 2010, but also because during the journeys that I do shamanically, I cross the veil every day for 1 or 2 hours, and I meet my helping spirits in a place that is not in this reality. So anything that I want to understand better, I can ask them directly. It's called direct revelation. I do not need to have somebody else's idea of what death is all about. I can just ask myself. I can just visit the grounds of the afterlife. And it is extraordinary. And all I can tell you is no matter if something like, channeling happens in your life, or a moment where your life disappears and you are going through a near-death experience, or the actual death itself, I can tell you from my experience that death does not exist, that the soul is eternal, and that the spirit is eternal, and that our own essence is unique, and that we have this opportunity right now to be alive in this beautiful, incredible paradise called planet Earth. And every day that we wake up, it is a new day, a new journey to experience the beauty of our lives. And this is what my work is all about. In a way, I could say that it is charity, but it is helping me. I don't know if it's helping you, but it is helping me so much. So I hope that I am achieving my promise to God, to energy, to source, to whatever you want to call it. Because when I promise to do charity, when I promise to do something for other people, if I was granted more time on this beautiful planet, I really meant it. I really wanted to do something with my life that would not be just working to survive and pay my bills and be in a survival mode, or I just wanted to really have a life that was squeezed to the last drop. And when it will be my time to go, I will be ready because I will have really, really squeezed the juice out of this opportunity. So I wanted to share with you a little bit. It's just a little bit. There's so much more, but a little bit of how I became a channeler to the Council of AR and a channeler to this extraordinary master quartz crystal called Sunny Moon. And I hope that you will follow me, my 2 YouTube channels. I will put the links below. And I hope that I can share these messages with more and more people around the world and continue to do long distance healings that I do for people all over the world, and enjoy your life and enjoy my life, because that's what it's all about. It's all about crystal clear joy in our lives. Crystal clear, no doubts, just clarity, just enjoyment of our lives every day, every second of our lives, and health. I just want to say this. Health is a frequency, and health is the frequency of passion, of wanting to be here, that's how you create health, of manifesting. Health is just manifesting your entirety of your passion as a human being that is living in the present time, in that moment, breathing that passion, being alive. Then the body heals itself because the body is aligned with that passion passion, with that ignited passion of crystal clear joy. So the body, the cells heal themselves. And that is something that the Council of AR is teaching me, because of course I have had so many health issues that I often ask them, how do I learn to self-heal myself from anything, from a flu to anything? And they are explaining me during these channelings how we can all learn to ignite that passion, that breath, that connection to source, where through that connection to the universal intelligence, source, energy, frequency, through that, our cells respond to what we want, to what we desire for ourselves, because we're powerful. We're powerful beings. We're here and we don't realize how powerful we are. We're alive and we waste time. We don't realize how powerful we are. So the Council of AR is giving that inspiration every day. And I have the passion to channel, because when I wake up in the morning, I feel that thirst for channeling, like that thirst for water and that hunger for food. I start feeling the thirst to channel, to connect with them so that more messages can come through. And I'm honored that they can be coming through me, because I'm just a simple human being. I have a lot of faults, as all my friends know, and my family. And I'm certainly not perfect. But I am using this computer, this machine that I have, this body, I'm using it more and more. And I'm finding the value in understanding how my brain works, not by being able to understand how channeling works, because I'm not able to do that, but by accessing all these innate gifts that we all have, the gifts of telepathic gifts, the gifts of knowing, the gifts of connection, the gifts of knowing that you're connected with life force, just through breath, through meditation, through simple meditation, just to be in the present time, just to be grounded, be in your body, be centered. That's the whole key. That's the whole secret. It's not complicated. So a little bit of sharing today. I hope I didn't bore you, and we'll see what life offers every day, the next few weeks, the next few months. But come with me and let's travel on this beautiful road together of being a student of life. Thank you.